The senators, yung activity nila on Facebook, we went beyond their pages and their official pages, but we also scoured Facebook for pages, fan pages, yung pages in their names. This is excluding mga pages that were, and groups that were not in their names, but were actually promoting them. And we've seen quite a few. And ito yung numbers po. Bongo was number 1, Bato de la Rosa 59, Sonny 46, Amy Marcos 35, Grace Co 27, Mar Rojas lang po ang hindi pumasok at 22. And pardon the colors, but Bongo, so ito yung level ng activity ng mga pages and Bongo, amount of content they produced around the time of the elections. Now, it would seem here, and nagtataka siguro kayo bakit ko sinasabi ito, Amy Marcos was here, right? But that was only the pages in the name of Amy Marcos. Now, if you look at all the pages in the name of the Marcoses, here we remove those that are in the name of Mariano Marcos High School, etc. Yung mga, obviously not the Marcoses, but about institutions with the name of Marcos, na gano'n. So, inalis na po yun, and then in-include yung mga Bongo Marcos pages, which were quite a lot also because he ran for the presidency, and they're still campaigning for Amy at the time. Ganito po kadami. Ito po yung dami ng posts na na-publish nila. This is data as of Feb 2019, and going backwards by a year. So within a year, ganyan kadami yung posts na na-produce nila. Okay, mga nasa mga 4,000 or so a month. Mga comparable to the activity of a news organization. Okay? So, yun po yung ano. But now, we found this interesting and we looked further. So far our study has gone through with data for the past that traces back to to the early DS days of the pages, but what we were able to really study so far is data to 2014. Why? Because it was very interesting. Around that time, yung birthday ko ni Imelda, she announced, she hinted na her son, Bongbong Marcos, deserves to be president. Okay, so interesting yun. And around that time, ito yung problema, right? Until 2010, no Marcos. So 2010 na po nagkaroon ng Marcos in a national position. Okay, 2010 lang. And in 2010, Marcos landed, Bongbong landed 7. The sitting president then, the one who won in 2010 was the son of the nemesis of the Marcoses, si Aquino, di ba? And Aquino won on a platform of anti-corruption, right? To lead na daan. And add to that, the Marcoses naman had to contend with this legacy. Corruption, you have all the cases still pending in the Sandigan Bayan, which are now slowly being resolved, right? And then the human rights abuse, yung human rights abuses. So, if you are want to be president, people are against corruption, what do you do? Right? What do you do? Circulating this content, and then they were interacting with each other. So parang ganito po. Nagpo-post yung isang account, nagko-comment yung isang account. Okay? Now, what was significant about that was, medyo nung tinignan namin yung mga accounts na yun, when we looked at those accounts, what we noticed was the details on the pages, on the profiles of those accounts didn't check out right. So like, employment, no, they're not employed in that company. Mga ganun. So, all the details, we checked them out, so we proved that they were wrong. So actually right now, we're tracing who was behind this nest. And this nest, we reported this to Facebook. They took it down already. but we still have the data. And there's quite a lot that we learned from this. This became the starting point of data gathering because these accounts were seeding content on a number of groups on Facebook. So groups, this one for instance was one of the groups where this account, Louis Cancho, her picture was that of a Korean pop star. She was posting content on the Marcoses. Okay? So ganun siya. So it started out as a spreadsheet process, and then we started automating the process. Now Shark Tank, this data that we have gathered, was able to spot as much as 52,000, over 52,000 public pages on Facebook and groups. So what we're trying to see, is like a bird's eye view of what's happening because we wanted to understand. And what we want to see is how these groups and pages were interacting. And how were they interacting? This was a sample. Itong, these groups, these were pages on Facebook, and they were connected to the first takedowns of Facebook in October 2018. Okay, the red pages, red nodes here, were the ones taken down. Meron pang mga green, they were not taken down yet at the time of the story. Okay? And those pages were amplifying they were sharing content from other politicians' pages. So that was the dynamic that we were observing. Now, huge network that was basically interacting with each other, connecting with each other, sharing content. Now the black dots here are the pages that were shared, that shared dubious claims. Claims that we fact-checked. Okay. So this group, this network is
no problem.
What we call network, a network distributing disinformation. And what's significant about it is it's not just one node. It's coming from multiple directions. It's stronger because it's not just a broadcaster. Okay? So, when did they start wrapping out? It connects to the timeline when Imelda Marcos said she wanted her son to run. A big picture of more than 15,000 votes. But as you can see, ito po yung mga teams. Okay? Those are the messages that they were saying. Okay? And there's general acceptance that it's okay to just defer to the president for everything. Like, you have to ask the president. Really? What's next? Perception is real. The truth is not. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, for presenting that perspective very academically, with research facts that were shared, and also with the conviction that comes from the poignant experience that Rappler seems to be having now. And at this point, we are again.
I'm Jen. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys can still stand another 20-minute discussion. I was kidding with my office mates that I am a sadomasochist. Last Monday, I got invited to talk at ABS-CBN for a talk back. I was discussing press freedom with Professor Rachel Khan and Carmina Constantina. And then today, I'm at a forum with Sir Sonny and Ms. Gemma on democracy and disinformation. On Saturday, I will be at UPD Demand, so I really must be. I love pain. Okay, so I don't know if Sir Angelo and the rest of COSCA made me last because I'm the best or whatever. But I wasn't able to listen, unfortunately, to the discussion of Dr. Holmes and Sir Sonny. I was able to hear the discussion of Ma'am Gemma. And the topic for this afternoon, at least for part 2, is defending democracy amidst systemized disinformation. They raise valid concerns about disinformation that you see on social media and in government. My task for you this evening is to inform you that there is still a lot of good information out there that you can find useful. If I can borrow the microphone. We have what we call proactive disinformation. Many of these things you already know. Under the DILG, they have the full disclosure policy, which requires local governments to publish their financial and budgetary documents on their websites. Underneath that, you see DevLive. DevLive is Development Live. It's an application now available on the Google Play Store or in Android. Hindi pa siya available sa iOS. So if you have Samsung or any other Android, you can download DevLive. Search nyo lang yung DevLive. DevLive is a proactive disclosure and transparency tool for you to find out what are the updates on local government projects. How a farm-to-market road is doing, what are the updates of a potable water resource project of the DILG. What I'd like to discuss is that FOI is also for academic research. When you have to do your thesis, dissertation, or other papers, and it requires government information, we advocate the use of FOI because you can ask that information directly from the government agency. The government agency, when it discloses information to you, it's considered official information which you can cite. FOI can also be used to fight fake news. We need to fight fake news because the nature of media and journalism nowadays is that the days or the time for editors to verify and vet information gets closer and closer as the people demand instant news faster and faster. And therefore, sometimes when verification is not done, not only by media but sometimes by the government because you want the information fast, then the burden is shifted to us. Well, to you, to citizens, to verify, and you can use FOI to fight fake news. FOI can also be used to innovate. You know, there are 2 developers who requested for datasets from LTFRB and LTO. The datasets that they requested were the routes of buses and jeepneys around Metro Manila. They also requested for the fare matrix of these buses and jeepney routes. And they used the datasets and made an app called Sakai.ph. It's downloaded both the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store. And if you don't want to ride Grab or Uber, and you're like a masochist like me, you like to commute and take the bus or the jeepney, extreme naman yung masochist. And you want to take the jeepney or the bus, then you can actually plug in where you're coming from, where you're going, and the app will show you how much the fare should be. So that's for innovation. And finally, FOI can be used for empowerment. Ages and ages ago, I don't know if our previous speakers discussed the history of information, dissemination. Many years ago, the reason why they fought for access to information because there was no information. Zero. Today, we have the complete opposite. We have over-information. Sobra-sobra dami. Kaming mga government offices, we fight each other for your attention. Oh, we're DepEd, we have this program for you. We're CHED, we have this program for you. We're DOST, we're DPWH, we're DSWD. And all of us are all getting your attention. That's just among government agencies, what more from the private companies. And so, because there's so much information, sometimes government programs don't reach the grassroots. I was in an immersion in Bukidnon last year, and I didn't realize that the government information doesn't reach the barangays. Well, I mean, they will know where my kids go to school, they will know what car I drive, and I tell them, Congressman,
They don't need FOI for that. You already share it in your Facebook page. And the slide shows you that people know what FOI is for. 42% request for legal documents. They ask for the latest BIR revenue regulation. They ask for the latest IRR, Republic Act, you name it, contract. 39% request for statistics. Health, poverty, gender statistics. 6% only request for the personal information of Mocha Uson. Yes, she's my favorite asset. And then 13% they complain. They think FOI is 8888, so we need to educate people.
Una, ay Miss Gemma, itinutuloy mo ba ang paglabag sa malayang pagpapahayag ng pagpili sa pag-renew ng practice ng PCOO? At bakit po? At tinatanong din kung ano ang ginawa ng papel ng PCOO noong panahon ng Marcos administration. At anong karagahan ito sa malayang pamamahayag? So that's the question for Ms. Gemma.
Actually, I think it's a great question to ask.
As well.
Especially because as an advocate of freedom of information and also as a lawyer,
Yes.
given that the ABS-CBN shutdown issue is a legal issue.
Opo, ito nga po, with much respect, Asa, ito po yung tanong naman na pinasa. Maraming polisiya nagpo-promote ng freedom of information, ngunit hindi pa contradicting dito ang ginawa ng Presidente sa parang ng pagtigil ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Yun po yung tatlong tanong na pinaya.
So, so yeah, actually that's a question to my mind. If the goal is to promote access to information, then let 1,000 flowers bloom, right? The beauty of a democratic, of a democracy and of the free press is in the multitude of it, di ba? Yung may capacity kang may capacity na mag-report. So, meaning, hindi mo basta-basta mapapatay yung yung storya kasi may ibang magre-report. And when Rappler, in fact, was born, we were born because we felt that there's that opportunity na may mga stories kami kasi before na they don't see the light of day because they can get killed. So it's not something na like because of interests out there. But because you have social media, it's cheaper now to publish content. Then it's easier to push stories that are important to the public. We don't deny that we're grateful for that. But the fact that when you start, going after and being selective is the problem. Because then you don't know, the game changes, right? Because meron ka ng mga tina-target na ilan na who are reporting. So you begin to wonder, if I keep reporting this way, will the same thing happen to me? Right? Will the same thing happen to me? And that's the danger. That's the danger, I think. Now, there's so many things that cannot be said here anymore because they are in the courts, right? But my question really, and this has been reiterated over and over again, if there were questions of violations, why were they not raised in the proper courts?
Alright, so from our perspective from PCOO, we actually supervise one channel, a very famous People's Television, which I know all of you watch. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So it's just an inside joke. Anyway, we do. You do. Okay. So I'm on there every Friday. Cabinet report sa Teleradio. Please watch 7 p.m. Anyway, so we do have PTV, but PTV is operating also because of a legislative franchise. And so the question on whether or not ABS franchise should be renewed should not be actually asked from PCOO, which has no control over the renewal, but rather on our Congress, which would decide on renewing or extending the franchise of TBS.
Assec, as an advocate of the freedom of information, would you consider the media as an important source of information?
Yes, because media organizations are our partners. If people are not able to ask information from government, that's where media comes in. Right now, we're very aggressive in trying to promote FY, but at the end of the day, the guardians of information are our media partners.
We're drawing to a close.
Yes, miss.
Perhaps can we ask a final word from them?
That would be good.
So the theme of our forum today is democracy in the age of disinformation. So
Right.
I wonder, for instance, percent of balance, is there a myth that you feel is so lurking around us that we feel should be challenged today? Right, so
It's a good question. It's also a question we
is
can
there a
also
myth that
address
you
as
think
well.
should be challenged?
Yeah.
A myth. I can only imagine what was discussed earlier, but our topic is democracy and disinformation. And it reminds me of a quote from James Madison back in 1822. And he said, a popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it is but a prologue to a farce or a tragedy, or perhaps both. Knowledge will forever govern ignorance. And a people who need to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power that knowledge gives. Many of us think that our democracy is just practiced once every 3 years or once every 6 years. They do not know that to be a practicing democratic country, every day we have to hold our government leaders responsible. And how do we hold them responsible? We ask. We ask because it is our right to ask information for them. We ask because we pay for the information that they collect and they distribute to us. When we make our decision every 3 years for local and every 6 years for national, it has to be dependent on data and evidence. When we use TripAdvisor to choose what hotel to stay in, when we use Booking to choose what restaurant to eat, we are actually using data and evidence to make our decisions. When we decide in 3 years or in 6 years who our leaders should be, it should not be based on their looks. It should not be based on whether or not they can dance or sing. It should be based on their achievements. So we should information is intertwined with democracy. Do not forget that.
Coachable coach. I agree with you, sir. I will. Yeah, but the other part that I think needs to be stressed here is the presence of information. Just the fact that there's an overflowing amount of information doesn't mean, or even an overflowing amount of conversations online, diba? Just that presence of so much conversation online does not mean freedom. It does not mean freedom of expression. It could mean something else. Because sometimes, and it's also part of the distortion. So sometimes, in countries where, and the Philippines is really one of those countries where there's so much free press, no? I mean, that was really why it was very significant to me. That shift was very, very significant to me. When you have that kind of condition, how do you then control information? Diba? You have open data, you have FOI, and so on, diba? You have all the means to voice your grievances, right? How do you control the information? You flood the market. You don't stifle expression. You flood it with something else. You flood it with more information. You should distort the conversation. And that is what's happening right now. That is what's happening in cyberspace right now. Something is repeated over and over again. And they're not based on the government data altogether. And I think the good Assec agrees with that. Like repeated messages that are not necessarily based on what the actual documents, what the actual data set say. Okay, you repeat that over and over again, the lie becomes real. The lie becomes real. And that's what we need to be conscious of.
Maraming salamat. Assec Kris Ablan. Ms. Jennifer, we're not letting you off the hook here because I believe there's going to be a response from a student. And we're calling now the president of the Development Initiative Organization, Jericho Curious, to give some sort of a closing remark that will be about this whole thing. I think we got a bit nervous when we sent a response from the student about the issue, but this is going to be a general response to also express our gratitude for our resource persons.
First and foremost, I would like to thank all our honored guests today for producing such meaningful and productive discourse. I would also like to thank all the organizers from the USG, COSCA, Blaze 2022, EDGE 2018, and Policy. This week would not have been possible without all our efforts. And of course, I would like to thank all the students which participated in today's discussion. It is for you that we, your organizers, have worked tirelessly for. So thank you very much. Before we formally end this week-long commemoration of what Mr. Africa has described as one of the country's greatest movements, there is a question which must be asked. Ano ngayon? What now? You are already aware that there's an effort to distort the truth. You are already aware of the ongoing revisions of history. So, gagawin yun. And the answer is inside a quote. There is some debate as to who said the quote, whether it was Thomas Jefferson or John Philpott Curran, but the quote goes like this: "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty." Eternal vigilance. Why? For there will always be those who seek to disrupt our way of life. For there will always be those who seek to destroy our democracy. And there will always be those who wish to deny us our inherent rights. They're inevitable. However good they are, however persuasive they may be, we cannot let them. We cannot let them succeed. So what can we do? As students and ordinary citizens, we can do so much, but the underlying philosophy must be vigilance. If we want to keep our rights to life, liberty, and happiness, we must examine, analyze, and if necessary, call out all attempts at revision and distortion. This is where the good Assec's FOI office comes in, if you want. Whenever we go on our gadgets or our phones, we must be on the lookout for suspicious articles or opinion posts declaring itself as true. To rephrase what Ms. Gemma just said earlier, what a dictator cannot bury or cannot censor, it hopes to bury with its own facts. If you were in the opening forum last February 24 with Dr. Torres and Ms. Table, they said that there are new playbooks and tactics used. They were correct. How could anyone hope to censor an entire system wherein with one push of a button, something spreads like fire. You can. It's difficult. So, what do? You make your own fire. Right? But we cannot allow this to happen. We cannot, in good conscience, sit still as our God-given liberties are taken away one by one. And it is up to us, the Filipino youth, to carry on the fight. It is time we pick up the mantle and fight back. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? The struggle is not just for us. It is for our children and for their children's children. We, the Filipino youth, hold our country's future in our hands. And we, as the silent achievers for God and country, can never back down. Thank you, and hopefully this entire forum and this entire week has been educational for you, and thank you very much.
The problem translates now to you as your consistent, significant participation in this process we call democracy. Dahil dyan, pasasalamatan natin muli ang ating mga nakibahagi at nagbahagi sa ating forum. The mga persons of significant authority and expertise. At tinatawagan natin si Sir Glasser Cortero, si Dean Jazz Diana, si Atty. Jose Dion. Sir, sama na rin po kayo sa pagpapasalamat natin sa ating mga speakers and resource persons who have taken time to be with us. Again, panapakan natin si Ms. Jenna Mendoza of Rappler, Assistant Secretary Kris Ablan of the Freedom of Information Program at the Presidential Communications and Operations Office. Pasalamatan din natin, sama na rin. Let's have a picture taken that we request also for the presence of Sir Sonny Africa. Thank you, sir. Ms. George Jacob, please join us also. Ang ating coordinator for social engagement ngayon, ang Paul Shai.